I see people joining the room. Often takes a bit of time. My name is Daryl Hers with DIT Indie Week. This is Sam Miller, Distrokid. We're going to get into it today. We do monthly, second Tuesday of every month, office hours with Distrokid. And our goal is to help you get better results when you're releasing music. So, what does that mean? Could be marketing, make sure metadata, all that stuff is sorted out, and planning and strategy, plus also tools. There's so much things to consider about releasing music in today's day and age. And often you're trying to figure it out yourself. So we're here to help. There's a Q&A, so that's where you put your questions. And one thing to note is we are focusing on marketing music, releasing music. That is what our topic is. If you can put in the chat where you're tuning in from, and also use the chat to share links. This is a great way to get to know each other. Part of being community is click those links to get to know the other person. Actually, do that and follow, like, share, help each other. So I'm already seeing we've got Toronto, Connecticut, London. Hey, Wanda from Toronto, Ajax, Edmonton. Hey, me and Vadim used to be in a band together. Andrew,
No way.
yeah. Chris Burkett's in the house. Everybody, Chris Burkett, a good friend, produced Sinead O'Connor, worked with Def Leppard and Led Zeppelin, a whole bunch of other people. We got Brighton, Kingston, LA, Winnipeg, Romania. Ooh, Peter might have the farthest location, Romania. Oh, Dominican Republic. Awesome. Love it. Keep it up, man. This is international. So, couple of things to note is DistroKid has partnered with us. We've been doing this monthly. I think this is our fourth edition. I think fourth. And I got to say, it's one of my favorite sessions we do every month. I get to talk to Sam and we get to share stuff. So, with that, Sam, if you give us a little rundown about yourself first, a
Hey,
little bit of a bio?
thanks, Daryl. I first and foremost, I enjoy doing this too. It's always really fun to get to, virtually meet people through their Q&A. And also, please drop your music drop links, your website, your music in the chat, because I'm saying that right now as opposed to at the end of the meeting, because I want to be able to open those up and check out everyone's music. So awesome. Thanks, Don. My name is Sam Miller. I've been working at DistroKid for 5.5 years, which is crazy because it feels like yesterday. I am a musician myself. I was using DistroKid as a musician to get my music out there in the world. And during COVID, I saw a job posting, and the next, next 5.5 years are history. I toured all over the world. I did, the actual uh, live schlepping CDs, merch, trying to make it as a middle class musician in the world. So I understand firsthand what it's like. And, as a person on the other side of the curtain in the digital music distribution space, I get to, learn about all the things that are working for people, for, the successful artists. And I get to help apply those to as many people as possible. So it's it sounds corny, but it actually brings me joy to help hopefully help artists succeed. And so I get to do that every day with DistroKid, and so I'm a pretty happy camper. I live in Bend, Oregon, Pacific Northwest, United States. I'm excited to talk to you. I have some exciting discount opportunities for everyone who's attending here. I have a little deck to share with some just basic DistroKid 101 information, and then we'll move on into the what we all really came here for, the Q&A, the chat, where we can actually connect directly. So I don't know if Daryl, if we're ready to try sharing screens here, or if you have any more intro things that we should touch base on before jumping into the presentation.
No, I think let's do the presentation so we have as much time for questions. And I just want to reiterate, put your questions in the Q&A. You should see a button down at the bottom of your Zoom screen, and that'll make it easy to track actually get through. And yeah, keep sharing those links. I love this. This is great to see. Sam, you can take it away.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, thanks. Keep it going with the links, as Daryl said. I'm gonna try to get all those opened up on my machine before moving on. Let's see. So these are some topics that we're going to touch on: release strategy, marketing tools, the DistroKid toolkit, and of course some bonus content. So starting with just general release strategy stuff, a pre-release checklist. So upload early. We always say a month early is a safe bet. You never know what's going to happen. Market your release like a movie premiere. Don't think of it as like last minute. Oh, I just finished this. I need to get it out there. I need to release it on Spotify tomorrow. That's something that you can do. Usually takes like 48 hours. So if you absolutely have to, you can get something out there. But if you're actually trying to succeed, and if you're trying to take a bite out of the music world, you have to think of it as you have to put on your marketing hat and be smart about it. Upload early, plan a strategy. Metadata audit, verify all the names, add your songwriter credits, set up splits, which we'll get into later, and upload your lyrics. Sync your lyrics if you have Lyric Blaster. DSP editorial pitching. So we'll get into this more in detail, but if you have your release ingested in the stores before your release date, you are able to pitch in Spotify for Artists and Amazon Music for Artists. So definitely take advantage of those tools by having your release in the system early and claiming your Spotify for Artists and your Amazon Music for Artists. Again, we'll get to this later, so we don't need to belabor that point. Conversion link. So activate Hyperfollow, which is our third party or a third party pre-save, but we have a pre-saving platform page that is built into each new upload on DistroKid. Definitely take advantage of that. And if you get people to pre-save your release, they automatically follow you on Spotify and you gather their email. So you build a mailing list as you go. And finally, get your visual assets together, your short form content, your TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, etc., YouTube shorts. Get all your assets together in advance and plan out a strategy. So let's talk about some of the DistroKid marketing tools. DistroKid provides various tools to help you promote your music and stay organized. These are, for the most part, free features that are just available to all DistroKid users. As I started talking about the hyperfollow, this is, if I had to pick a favorite feature, it changes from day to day, but today I would say hyperfollow. You can edit these, which I think it's something that is underutilized. If you go to, I think it's distrokid.com/hyperfollow, like if you're logged into DistroKid, you'll see all of your releases and their corresponding hyperfollow page. You can go in there, you could edit it. You could add all of your social media links. You could add your website. You can add a little bio. You can edit the artwork even on the hyperfollow page. And share this around. I think like sharing it on Facebook is a really powerful way of getting the pre-saves in, because a lot of people are using Facebook on their desktop and they'll have Spotify logged in and it's just really seamless. They click pre-save and they're not asked to like log into Spotify or anything. It just automatically saves the song to their library before it comes out. And so when your release goes live, that person automatically becomes a follower of your artist profile and your song is automatically added in their library. And it helps build your following algorithmically. It helps improve your chances for your next release too. So pre-saving is it seems like something that I think the average DistroKid user is not really leaning into enough. So we built this for everyone to use and to hopefully help maximize their release potential. So also, as you can see on the screen here, I pulled a few good examples, one of which is T-Pain's recent track, Club Husband, where he dropped his official music video link onto the Hyperfollow page. So the Hyperfollow page is kind of like a website for your release. And you could have one of these for each new release. And you could share it on socials. There's a lot of stuff to touch base on. So the canvas generator, if you notice, Spotify has a feature where if you're using Spotify on your phone and you click on a song, you'll see some sort of visual beyond just the album artwork, a uh, a little short looping video. So we have templates for this. They're free, and you could just download it, immediately upload it into Spotify for Artists, and then you have a canvas. So it just kind of elevates your releases on Spotify. I highly recommend it. It's also the same aspect ratio as a vertical recording on your phone or video on your phone. So, in other words, you have no excuse not to have canvases on all of your releases, whether you're using our canvas generator or you're just taking clips of cool things that you've filmed on your phone. One word of advice for making clips: keep your phone steady, make something that loops really well. If it has too much movement, it probably won't loop seamlessly. Promo cards. So this is kind of like the canvas generator. They are um, presets, basically. So they're not really customizable, other than that your album artwork populates in the center of it. I will say that we're always doing new promo card packs. So for every holiday, every different season, and just every new like visual trend, we are creating new um, promo card packs that you could access, from the DistroKid app or from logged into your DistroKid on your computer. You can generate the promo cards and upload them directly to socials. They're a great way to promote your release. I mean, I said Hyperfall is my favorite. Maybe promo cards are actually, because I think that they're actually pretty cool looking. There's so many of them that they feel unique, even if, technically speaking, other people have used them or can use them too. If you will look at this one, a few of these are actually my releases. So the album anniversary one was one of my piano releases back in 2020. This other one is a release from my label. My friend Matt Badger put out his album. I think that was also 2020. But they look good, you know. Just I'm not like I'm not self-promoting here. I'm just saying these actually look good and I actually use them personally. So, I'm not just like uh BSing you here. This is like legit. And can't downplay the mini videos either. So these are other automated, like free promotional assets that any DistroKid user can generate. And you could upload them to socials. As you can see, this Kiss of Judas, this Flames mini video. I mean, this is like one of my favorites. It's pretty awesome. And you download it, upload it to your socials, and in Instagram or in TikTok, you can select your song from the sound library, and then it'll be playing with this. So super powerful. You could also, of course, in your stories, you could add a link to the release. You could add it to like your hyperfollow page if you want, or you can add a link to Spotify or to Apple or wherever you want people to stream. So we can get into that, how to use these. We can get into that in the Q&A if you have any questions, but check out the mini video feature. Like promo cards, there's a bunch of different templates you could pick from, and the videos get generated in a few minutes. Play around with them. If you find one you like, you could upload it and use it as part of your marketing strategy. Mentioning Instant Share, which is our file sharing service. So you don't need Dropbox or Google Drive or any number of these file sharing services. If you are a DistroKid user and you have like the tier up from the basic tier, you can use our file sharing service to send video files, sound files. You can give people a preview to your album. You could use it just sending and receiving files, like what we all do every day, all day. Definitely something to know about and to use. So that was just some basic marketing tools. Let's get into the just general toolkit. So this is something that I don't think everyone fully utilizes. We have a feature called splits, which, as it sounds like, you are able to split royalties that come in to different DistroKid users. So you don't have to keep track of everyone's earnings. And when you're filing taxes, it doesn't need to be a complete nightmare, because all these earnings have already been divvied up and they have been given to the appropriate rights holders, however you decide that is. Basically, this is just a feature that allows you to allocate earnings however you want based on a percentage. I always suggest setting this up before the release comes out so there's no question about who's owed what. But within this, you could also set up a recoupment. So, say you owe the producer $1,000 and then they get 10%. That's 10% is their royalty split, but you owe them $1,000. So you could set the recoupment to $1,000, meaning the first $1,000 that come in go directly to your producer. Once he's paid back, then automatically his 10% goes into effect and 90% goes to you. So recoupments is super, super helpful. Another example of this would be like, if Daryl and I released a song and say I paid $200 for a Spotify showcase marketing promo, and so I could set it up as, we have a 50-50 split, but because I put my own money into marketing the release, we could set the first $200 goes to me, and then our 50-50 goes into effect after that. Super, super helpful to have, so you don't have to, you don't have to be crunching all these numbers for other collaborators at the end of the year and beyond. So definitely check out splits, check out recoupments. I wanted to mention we're not just doing a, this isn't just Spotify and Apple and Amazon and YouTube. This is, I don't know, I should know the number, but this is a three-figure. This is like over 100 DSPs. We're getting all over the world in different streaming services and different social streaming services that you may have never even heard of, but in other territories in other countries they're really popular. So by using DistroKid, you're getting your music, you're truly getting it out there. You're it's a loudspeaker just blasting it through the multiverse of different DSPs. It's you can just search the web for a list of all the stores, but on the upload form, there's I think you have to deselect stores if you don't want it to get sent to a certain place. The default is the majority of stores you're going to be delivering to. So chances are, if you've used DistroKid, you are already in all of these different stores. So DSP tools. So these are things that the actual DSP offers artists. And we've set up some integrations that help you claim your profiles in stores. So you don't have to wait forever. And so, we basically help with the verification process. So the store knows, oh yeah, you are the representative of that artist. So you're able to claim the profile and curate your presence in their store. The big ones, obviously, Spotify for artists. You can, if you have a release uploaded through DistroKid, you can go to, goodies, scroll down to special access, and you'll see the option to just click on Spotify for artists. You select the artist. It, I think, asks you to log into your Spotify account that you'll be using to claim the Spotify for artists, and boom, you're in. And once you're in, you're going to see stats, daily stats. You're going to see demographics, where people are streaming your music. If you're added to playlists, you have a list of all your playlists. It's this day and age, it's a must. You need to claim your Spotify for Artists profile for, your first release. There's a way of claiming it before the release comes out, which is a little more complicated. But if you have any questions about that, I'll help you in the Q&A. Also, Apple Music for Artists. This is just similar sort of thing where you have different statistics from different demographics. You see where people are listening to you on Apple's platforms, but also they show you where you're being listened to on the radio. So Apple is able to, basically scan all of the radio waves and tell you where you're being played. So claiming your Apple Music for Artists profile is more than even just seeing where you're being streamed or how you're being streamed on Apple. It shows you where in the world on the radio you're being listened to. So super awesome, great platform to lean into. Amazon Music for Artists is the other one that allows you to pitch upcoming releases, like Spotify for Artists. And you gotta take advantage of that too. And then also YouTube official artist channel is another one that you basically you have to have. I know this is a lot, so I feel like I'm just rattling these off, but Spotify for Artists, Apple Music for Artists, Amazon Music for Artists, YouTube official artist channel. I think those are basically a must. So if you haven't claimed all of those, get in there and do it. We have an app, a mobile app, which basically has all the functionality of DistroKid, desktop DistroKid. You could even, upload your releases from your phone. But I personally use it most for like generating promo cards because you could share directly from your phone to socials. You could also check your stats. You could request a bank withdrawal. You could edit your release. You can, edit the song title, do whatever you need to do. You could do that all from your phone. So even if you don't plan on uploading your music from your phone, I still think it's worth getting the app, having it, and it's good when you're sitting there scrolling on your phone. Check to see who's streaming your music, and we have daily stats that are available in your on your phone. Now we're moving on to bonus content. We have an automated mastering service called Mixia, which, like the other DistroKid products it's an annual subscription, unlimited masters. I've used this personally. I think it's pretty damn good. If you don't have the resources to hire a mastering engineer for all of your songs, this is a great option. Maybe in some cases is even better. You just drop the file in. You have a few different options that you could pick from. Once you like the setting, you basically click download mastered track and then it generates it for you. Then you could upload that to stores. So it just gives your music just that extra polish. It's adding compression and EQ. So, the main purpose of mastering is so that your song sounds equally good on all different sound systems in the car, on your computer speakers, on your phone, and then of course also on really good studio monitors and good sound systems. It's a way of just giving it a balanced sound across the board. One note is if you're using an automated mastering service or any mastering service for that matter, you want to upload a pre-mastered version of your song. So make sure that you don't have like a limiter on squashing your pre-master, and also give some headroom. So like 3 to 6 dB headroom so that the mastering plugin can bring up everything in a nice balanced way. Here we go. DistroVid. So it's like DistroKid, but with a V. We have a music video distribution service. And I'll just say right now, scan the QR code for a discount if you are interested. It's like DistroKid, like Mixia. It's an annual subscription. It's technically a separate subscription from DistroKid, and it gives you unlimited music video uploads. It'll get your video on Spotify, on YouTube through Vivo. So if you don't have a Vivo channel, when you upload your video through DistroVid, we'll create a Vivo channel for you on YouTube. And if you have an official artist channel claimed, you can reach out to us and ask for those two to be merged. And so your music videos will show up directly on your official artist channel on YouTube. And you'll have the Vivo watermark. Vivo will be collecting earnings on your video, and you'll see that all show up in your DistroKid bank alongside earnings from your releases. We also distribute music videos to Boomplay, Tidal, Apple/iTunes, and as of very recently, I haven't even added them back on the slide, Amazon. So definitely check out DistroVid. It's, in my opinion, it's a way of just elevating your presence in stores. Having your music video available on Apple, I think is just, it just makes everything look more legit. I, personally don't get most of my video traction on Apple, but it just helps my overall presence. It helps your SEO. It's just good. Might as well be everywhere. Also, Vivo will monetize your music video even if you're not in YouTube's partner program. So if you upload a music video, as of now, assuming you're not like a big YouTuber and you have a deal with YouTube, if you upload a music video, you're not collecting earnings on it. It's just an upload. It's like uploading something to Instagram. Um, so you kind of just it's there's no possibility of even making money on it. However, if you upload the music video through DistroVid, it goes through Vivo and it gets monetized like your releases, like anything that you commercially distribute to stores. So scan the QR code if you're interested. Definitely check out DistroVid. Again, in my opinion, this is like a must this day and age. We recently launched DistroKid Direct, which is basically a merch on demand um, store that you can easily create within a few clicks. You don't need to make 100 shirts to see if one is going to sell. You create the shirt within the platform. It is displayed for sale, and when someone orders it, we get it made and shipped to them on demand. And you keep the difference. So you set your prices and you get to keep the the profit. It's it's awesome, especially for people who don't want to be sinking a bunch of money into making merch that they don't know is going to sell. As of now, we have a few different items that are available. It's the merch is created with your album artwork. So you'll get to select which items and which artwork to display on the item. And once you get your store set up, you could share it around. As orders come in, we'll get them made and get it shipped out. Definitely worth checking out. This is a very new feature. I'm sure it will evolve and change over time in the near future, but get in the early phase. This is a discount code, this QR code. If you scan that, I think it's a 20% off for your first year. Check it out. Like all other DistroKid services, you keep 100% of your earnings. And again, no inventory and no storefront to design. Here's some more details. Here's, the $70 billed annually. It's a 583 a month. And it's a relatively low cost for a platform that allows you to sell merch to people. You could set it up in 5 minutes. Select your release, choose your products, publish your store. And so the products are, as of now, we got the shirts, tote bags, mugs, and hoodies or sweatshirts, I believe. But within a few minutes, you could set up a merch store and start selling merch to your fans. So super super freaking cool. I think that this is probably a decent point to just move on to a Q&A. I hope that the presentation was helpful. The DistroKid Direct is, as I said, it's evolving. I would say check it out, set up your store, and you'll be all set for when the new features are unlocked.
All right. So one thing that I did while you were talking is I just created a really quick form so that everybody can share their song link. So it's easy for Sam to have a list of all the songs. And
Amazing. Yeah, thank you.
a- and for everybody here on this session, you can put your email, which means we could email you extra stuff. So I'm going to put that link in the chat now. Really easy, everybody. You just put in your email and your song link, and we can contact you after. And that makes it easier for Sam. And who knows, maybe we'll make a playlist. And one thing I wanted to talk about, because when you were talking about the DSPs, this is something that I feel is overlooked so much, the power of all the DSPs. Default, Spotify. But there's
Yeah.
so many more around the world that we tend to ignore. I noticed you mentioned Boomplay in there, and I'm in Brazil right now, so I did a quick search. So when you did that slide on DSPs, it made me like, what's top in Brazil? So I did a quick search on DSPs. Now, something that's interesting about Brazil is it's moving up in the charts of world's largest music markets. It is now number 8 in the world, and a big reason is streaming. There's a lot of people in Brazil. So when I did the search, it said literally because of the 40 million people streaming. And Tidal is one of the top ones here. Often Tidal is one of the ones that you don't hear much about in North America. And Deezer is another one. So this is something to know. This is why it's so important to understand that distribution is to get your music in all these territories. And even though you might not be aware of it, and I often tell this distribution type story where it kind of came to my mind when I first backpacked in 1999, and I'm on this remote Greek island, and I could still get Coca-Cola. And it was like, wait, here's something I recognize in a foreign territory. So that's a big role of the distributor is to get your music served in as many outlets as possible. So if anybody hears about you, they can search and find you. That is one of the biggest things about music distribution. And I just wanted to say that because you shared that slide, it just made me remember we need to maybe point out the power of it because we are global, everybody. And we often think about what is where I'm at. And I'm lucky to be here in Brazil working, learning about the culture here, learning about what works and what doesn't. So, anyways, sorry for the long rant, Sam.
No, not at all. Thank you for mentioning that. And you're abroad right now, and so you see the difference in different places around the world. People are on different streaming platforms, and it's not all. The world does not just consist of North America. I mean, obviously, based on our attendees here, it's like we're a global community, and you you should take advantage of being able to have your music in all of these different outlets. And different artists, different genres are going to do better in different regions, in different stores, and it is amazing. The streaming has unlocked the potential of reaching these huge audiences, and we just definitely take advantage of that. So again, as I said, the default when you're uploading a song to DistroKid is, I think most of these stores are selected. So if you go up at the top of it, it asks, "Oh, what stores are you sending this to?" So if you wanted to upload to just Spotify, of course you could do that. You would just have to deselect all the stores. You could do Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Tidal, YouTube, whatever. But I would never recommend that. Why not just be everywhere?
All right. Okay. So, JJ, with the music distribution easier than ever, how can a new band cut through the noise when social media and TikTok feel like a total chore, but playing live is what we actually love to do?
Keep playing live. I think playing live is, real life is more novel than ever before. You have an opportunity to connect in a real way. I said this last month and maybe the month before, but I know it's very easy to get distracted by quantity. You see monthly listeners, stream counts, yada yada, likes. How well am I doing? Everything's quantified, but really leaning into quality of the connection, build meaningful connections with people. Even, you have 10 people at your show who come up, and if they follow you from after the show and actually listen all the way through your album and are fans, that's super valuable and arguably more valuable than 1,000 passive listeners. So it's not one or the other. But if you're a real band that plays in the real world, lean into that. Go on tour. Don't get discouraged. And streaming will follow. Of course, you can also do the things that I was, outlining, using the promo cards, making short form content. I know it's a chore. Look, I'm 40 years old. Like, this stuff is weird to me. I don't, it may have come more naturally at a different stage in my life, but it seems a little bit forced. However, this is just how people consume content. You go into a waiting room and everyone's on their phone, or a restaurant. I mean, it's just the reality of how people, they are interacting through their phone. And so you have to be there to get their attention. But I think because so much of our attention is in the digital sphere, the moments of like connection in the real world are that much more important and meaningful. And yeah, so definitely play, be a live band. I strongly encourage that for everyone, actually, for everyone, in fact, everyone on this call. If you haven't played shows, if you're just leaning into streaming and your online presence and your, whatever, maybe you're live streaming too, you're a virtual artist, get out there in the real world, play a venue, play a living room, do whatever you have to do, but connect in the real world. And it's going to be longer lasting and something that actually feeds into streaming too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm going to add a tip and a plug. If you've been following on DIT, I actually talk a lot about this and how I've got a strategy on Instagram that's literally 15, 25 minutes a day, making zero content, nothing. And I've been able to get accounts up to 25 to 40,000 views per month by making nothing, posting nothing, but doing engagement. So the one thing is that I'll say is you have to put a bit of work in and start dealing with other people. That's often we're posting passively, thinking they're going to come to us, but we got to get to them. So, anyways, stay tuned on DIT because I'm going to keep doing those talks.
And Daryl, you mean commenting, liking, engaging in that way with other people's content? Like what kind of engagement are you talking about?
Okay, so I'll just share this. This is the thing I've discovered in tests. People care about me. So if I share something from somebody else, promoter, venue, awards, conference, festival, other artist, etc., they almost always come back and say, "Thanks for sharing," and that's engagement. And the platform rewards people who have engagement. So if I share 4 things and I get likes, comments, DMs, possibly a share on every single one, I have 100% engagement rating. So the algorithm starts rewarding me. You have to do it over time. Be committed, but it's only 15, 20 minutes a day. Uh, and I'm actually getting positive responses from the people I want to engage with. And if they DM saying thanks, that's opening the door to conversation without me sending, here's my thing when they care about them. So, anyways, that's the small plug. And I talk about it on DIT. So if you see me post anything about, hey, I'm talking about Instagram, I'll be diving into that stuff. So it works. With our Indie Week account, we're up. Yeah. With Indie Week account, now there's different phase. We're at 200,000 views a month, posting almost no content. So it's crazy. It works. Stay tuned on DIT. All right, let's get to questions. Chris Burkett says, how much does Distrokid take from your royalties? Important question.
0%. Distrokid,
0.
everything that we receive from stores shows up directly in your Distrokid bank. So we're a subscription service. You pay your annual subscription, and you keep 100% of your royalties. So that said, there are some add-ons, some special features that operate a little bit differently. So social media pack is helps monetize UGC. So if someone is using your song in their video on YouTube or on social streaming platforms, we actually do the manual work of connecting it to your song and monetizing it. So social media pack takes a 20% cut just for earnings that go through that. But otherwise, 100% goes straight into your bank. This is like, if you plan on making any money in streaming, this is the way to go. We're taking literally 0%. So you know exactly what you're paying. It's an annual subscription cost. You can add album extras, as I said, and then those have annual charges, recurring charges too. But you know exactly what you're paying, and then everything else that comes in is 100% yours.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Mixia. Is Mixia considered AI? If I compose or record all of my music without AI, but use Mixia for mastering, would my music be considered as having used AI?
No. In my humble opinion, no. It is not. It does not. It's not. Doesn't make it AI music. You're not using. It's not generative AI. It's just turning knobs that a human would be doing, and it's keeping your recording identical. It sounds identical. I don't want to say it sounds identical because it actually sounds better, but it's not manipulating your recording. It's just adjusting the EQ and compression.
Right.
Of
It's
course, everyone has their own standards. They think, some people might say, "Oh, I want everything needs to be done, manually." But you have to ask that person who's manually mastering or mixing your song in their digital audio workstation. Are they doing it? They're using plugins that are modeled off of outboard gear, and it's not analog. So the AI thing has been, obviously there's like generative AI, which is a different thing, and it's a catchphrase, but we've been using digital technology to enhance the music creation process for as long as I've been making music. So just something to consider. Yeah. In other words, my opinion is no, and no store or distributor is going to treat it that way. They're not going to treat it as AI music.
gotcha. And just so you know, when I was making music, I'm old. It was $1,000 a song to get mastered. So 10 songs, 10,000 bucks. Just so you know. Then you
Yeah,
go make the CDs. Then you go make the CDs. Like it
and
was 20.
considering when that was, with inflation adjusted, that would be like $3,000 a song now.
Yes. Yeah. Just to release music was like $25,000 in debt, just so you know. Studio time, mixing, mastering, and making the plastic. All right. Amanda asks, how long does mechanical licensing take through DistroKid?
As soon as you upload and you click, I have the rights to upload this, and it gets sent to stores. When the song is streamed, we're collecting all of the earnings that come through, and they show up in your bank within a few months of basically there's a sale date, and then there's a reporting date. So stores usually report earnings a month to 2 to 3 months after the sale date. And I guess maybe you're referring to mechanical licensing, which would be like the MLC, which is a different thing. We're not doing setting any of that up for you. But basically, as soon as you upload with DistroKid, we immediately start monetizing your music in stores.
And just with my hat as past working with distributor, sometimes there's a lot of third party stuff that goes on too. All right. I want to
Here, I'm
ask this.
dropping in mechanical licensing collect the MLC.com. I'm just dropping that in the chat here. That's Mechanical Licensing Collective. It's a way of collecting all of your mechanicals. This is a separate thing from DistroKid or DistroKid Publishing.
Ooh, and you can probably leak right now here on this group. MLC is a new partner of DIT and Indie Week. So here first. We'll be having definite information about mechanical licensing soon. All right, Phil asks to be paid by DistroKid. I heard we have to register as a business as a sole proprietorship, or do we need to register our given names or our business musical name to be paid? So do you have to be a business? I think is what the question is. A registered business.
But, just to be clear, I'm not a tax person, and I'm not, qualified to give you some tax advice. However, if you have a social security number, I mean, as an individual, you could get paid. You have to basically, when you go into your, let's see, what is the process? You go to payout. I'm just going to walk you through how you set
If
up.
I can answer that,
Yeah,
add something
go
real
ahead.
quick while you're looking up.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering who said that, because if it's an accountant or somebody working with accountant, the accountant might say, and this is Jay Gold talking in my head, set up as a business so you can have write-offs. So that's one thing, is they might be talking about make sure you are registered as a business so you can write off all your expenses.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's something that I'm not gonna get in the weeds of, but yeah, if you have a business ID or you're doing things like it depends on how you're filing taxes, I think. But yeah, you could if you're over 18, I think even if you have a um someone over 18 collecting on your behalf, I don't know. I don't even want to get into this because I don't know. If you just go to distrokid.com/payouts, you'll be able to see what you're able to enter in there, and you'll set up how you're going to be paid out, and we'll send you a tax form at the end of the year for whatever was paid out to you. We try to make it as simple as possible. Yeah, as Daryl is saying, I mean, you can get into all kinds of like, oh, having a business, you could do write offs. It may benefit you as a band to register as a bit, but that requires, I think, getting a business license, some other stuff that I'm not qualified to get into.
Yeah, I'm just saying that maybe an accountant might have given that advice. I know my accountant would. All right, Vincent asks, and this is a good question: can an artist have a website through DistroKid as well?
You can, you absolutely can. In fact, Bandzoogle is part of the DistroKid family. If you know, if we have some Canadians in the audience here, Canadian platform that became part of the DistroKid family a few years ago. Let me see if I could pull up any cool Bandzoogle stuff for you guys. Okay, good. You guys are familiar with it. Bandzoogle is amazing. It's um I set up one. I use it for my own artist website. The presets are so good. It's like it looks like the shiniest, fanciest website you could have paid who knows what to get designed. But within a few seconds, you have everything there. And there's a new feature where if you're a DistroKid user, you could automatically populate your release into Bandzoogle to sell it directly on Bandzoogle. Um, so if you're using DistroKid, I suggest using Bandzoogle to set up a website. Absolutely. You could also, I talked about hyperfollow. If you wanted just like a really quick, I need something to send people to. You could set up a hyperfollow page for you as an artist. So I could set up like a hyperfollow.com/Sam Miller, I'm pretty sure. And then I could put links to everything. I could enter text, I could have a bio, and I can put I think even streaming links on the page. So if you need just some like a really basic one sheet sort of website, you could do that even with hyperfollow. But definitely check out Bandzoogle if you haven't. Super, super helpful for artists and looks great, works amazing. You could sell tickets on there. You could sell your music directly, obviously. You could have links to to everything you need to be linking to. You could sell merch, yada yada yada. It's like everything that a musician could need to do is built into Bandzoogle.
Yeah, Bandzoogle we love, Canadian company, good friends of ours,
Oh yeah.
and I highly recommend it as well. Don asks, if I want to apply for YouTube OAC through DistroKid, would I be required to migrate all my previous releases to DistroKid?
So you're saying you have releases through a different provider
Yeah.
already, and you don't have a OAC? No, no, actually, you don't. You could upload I'm assuming you're using DistroKid now, right? Or you will going forward. Upload your song to YouTube. On the upload form, you'll be able to enter. Do you already have a YouTube topic channel? Make sure you enter that existing topic channel. So where your releases are currently displayed on YouTube, enter that topic channel on the DistroKid upload form, and then that tells YouTube, send this art track to that existing topic channel where your other releases live. And then once that release is live on YouTube, you'll be able to claim your official artist channel within DistroKid. Go to special access or like goodies, special access, official artist channel. You should be able to select your artist name. And because you have that release through DistroKid, we've made it easy to claim your official artist channel. And all those existing releases will show up on your channel alongside your DistroKid ones.
Another one from Chris. Can I release a track on DistroKid that's already up on Bandcamp?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. You think about it this way: it's just one store that your release is available in. We don't distribute to Bandcamp, so you need to do it. You need to upload it through DistroKid to get it everywhere else too. You're just um, adding it to additional stores.
So when you're transferring, it's all about the code, I believe. Can you
Sorry,
talk about that, Sam?
I'm
Yeah.
assuming you're referring to like ISRC.
Yes.
In general, moving releases in or out of DistroKid or any distributor, you want to keep the audio file the same, the metadata the same, which is song title, artist name, everything identical, and the ISRC code. If you transfer things or re-upload them with all of the same metadata, audio file, and ISRC, some stores like Spotify will track leaking. So your play counts will be retained and the song will still be on that same playlist that it was added to previously. Definitely important because I'm assuming after this call, a lot of you guys are gonna be moving to DistroKid from your other distributor. But you can poke around our FAQs. We have a lot of information that helps, hold your hand through the process. Cause I know it could be kind of scary, deleting your music is kind of sketch. But if you are using the existing ISRC codes, you should be good to go.
JJ asks, what are your thoughts on releasing live recordings of performances on Spotify, etc.? We regularly record our live performance as multi-tracks. And shameless plug, they're playing tonight at the Horseshoe. So if you're in Toronto, no cover, go to the Horseshoe to see them. So Sam, what are your thoughts on live recordings?
I love them. Awesome. Definitely upload. Just definitely upload them. Let me just double check because maybe you can't upload the live recording to all stores through DistroVid, but Vivo obviously accepts them.
But even like just audio to Spotify.
Oh yeah, yeah, just audio. Oh, so we're not. These aren't videos. These are live recordings. Yeah, definitely. If that's your vibe, if you're a band that has that special sauce live, definitely capture that. Live recordings are awesome. I think it does, and it definitely sets you apart from artists who don't have any evidence that they've ever played live before. And a personal thought: in the AI age, capturing a live performance is like what recording comes down to. It's like it's back to recording a musical performance versus just generating something that sounds cool. Whatever. Everyone has different. Again,
Yeah.
it's a personal thought, but definitely
No,
make use of it.
I think that live is great. And I've seen some strategies like Pearl Jam on one tour released an album every concert. The one thing is their Spotify channel was live, live, live. Like it was hard to find the recordings because it was like 100 live albums. Something that I fairly recently talked to an artist about was release a live album, but take it down after a certain period of time and then release another live album. So it's kind of current live because as an artist that's developing, the current is probably your best live performance. So something to be aware of. Then you're also always having new releases that you can pitch to playlists all the time, even if it's the same song, different recording.
Yeah, good point. It gives you an opportunity to have something new, and it means you don't have to be coming up with completely new songs for every new release cycle. You could overdo it though, as Daryl was mentioning, even that's Pearl Jam. You could be having trouble finding, okay, well, what's the best version? Oh, this is not the version I was trying to listen to. Make it easy for people to find things. Also, you want to build algorithmic momentum. So, one counter to the deleting and then uploading a new version would be, people saved that. If people really liked that version, all of a sudden it's gone. Dude, everyone has their own strategy, and there's always, there's no one size fits all. But I personally think live recordings are awesome, especially if you could do it tastefully. You could do like, record every performance for a year and then put together an album of the best version, best iteration of each of those songs into one album, one live album. Something like that, I think would be really cool. I mean, you could upload one of those tracks like every month. So throughout the year, so you have a different track that's coming out. Like here's the live version of this song. Here's the live version of this song. So every time, so you do a performance and then you decide, okay, which song did we nail the best from this set? Upload that as a standalone single, you know, live version. And then a month later, okay, from this other show, which song did we nail? Of course, these could be from the same performance if you just had the best performance of your lives. But people do waterfall releases and they release singles that lead up to an album. You could do this with a live album. And then, you finally put them all together into the live album 2026. Boom. Then you have a new album that comes out. Acoustic live, yeah, good example. There's all kinds of things you could do. The main takeaway from this, and the thing that I could say all successful artists have in common, is they're really thinking ahead, and they're trying to come up with like concepts, and not necessarily concept albums or something like that, but just thinking about, okay, how is this actually going to roll out, and how are we going to capture people's interest and try to grow this and develop this and build towards something. So what you don't want to do is just record something, upload it right away. It's going to fall on deaf ears. That you're being superstitious to think that that's going to amount to anything. Instead, get your assets together, get your recordings together, and then plan out how you're going to release them.
One last thing I was going to say, what would do is they rely on EP and have a song from different cities so that they're getting audiences interested from many cities for one live album. So, and I know this because one of the songs was from Edmonton when I was at the concert. So I bought the EP because, memories, emotions. That's what music is. One last question, because my internet's about to fall off the table here. Inadvertently, I have two accounts on Distrokid. I need to consolidate, but was told I cannot do that. I need to take the latest release and upload them to one account using a new ISRC, which means re-release all over again. Oh, I remember some of these questions when I worked at a distributor. Sam, any light on two accounts?
So the bad news is you can't transfer an ISRC from one account to the other. You can consolidate your releases, but your play counts are probably going to be reset. If it's important to you, if they're not, you could decide which account has the more traction. But, if you have an old release that doesn't have, a huge listener base attached to it, it's fine. You could delete it, re-upload it, just use different ISRCs, and then those releases will populate in stores, and you'll be managing it all from one DistroKid account. That's what I would generally recommend. If it's really, really important to you, if the song is doing really well and it's on a different account, I'm sorry. That's just kind of how it's set up. We don't have a way of moving ISRCs. To my knowledge, it's just not really possible, no matter who you're using as a distributor. You can set up splits, so you can keep that account active, set up splits so that all the earnings are going to your master account if you wanted to. So if you want to be able to just like control all your royalties from one place, you could take the other account and just send 100% of the splits to your new account. And that way, yes, you're still paying for two accounts, but at least you are seeing all of the earnings in one place. So there's no confusion with that. I hope that qualifies as the good news, even though I started with the bad news. But this is a pain point. This is something that, I wish that we could snap our fingers and figure it out. But it's very difficult to come up with a solution. So yeah, you have to keep the releases locked to that account by the ISRC, is what it is.
Yeah, it's part of the digital world, and I think often because it's digital, everybody thinks, well, it should be able to be switched and changed. And um, what I used to say was, well, when I worked at a record store, and if one artist left a label and went to a different label, now that new label has to print new CDs, and the old ones now no longer being pressed. So that's something to consider about in the physical world. These types of changes also do take place, and I saw it a lot
And
working at a record store.
that's exactly right. It just has to do with earnings and where they're directed. You know, who the where and it's not. It doesn't mean you can't move your release over. It's just play counts and stuff will probably reset. You can absolutely move your releases over. It's just you have to have a different ISRC code.
Yeah, and I'll add one thing, and then again, my internet is barely hanging on here. Um, it was the same type of question I had a lot about artist names, where on this CD it's this name, and this CD it's this name and somebody else. And I'm just sort of checking to see if it's still like this. They might have fixed it on Spotify, but it was like there was Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Two different artists is what it it was. In the digital world, you cannot consider it the same. It's two different artists. So names also matter too. Just so you know, names matter.
Very true. Very, very true.
Sam, I think I'm freezing up here, and we're after the hour. So time to shut her down, I believe. Now I'm sharing the link one more time. There's a form. If you want to add your song and email, it allows us to email more stuff. And also maybe we'll put together a playlist, but I'll make sure Sam gets the list of songs. So make sure you submit it even after the session.
Yeah. Oh, always fun to be here. Thanks for having me. I hope it was informative to everyone.
Yes. And Cheryl asks, what's the best way to ask for questions of Sam? See you in 4 weeks. We are here once a month. So see you in 4 weeks.
Yep. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day. Submit your music. See you on DIT. Bye.